Excuse me. You can't fish here. This is private property.
Right?
Actually, ma'am, I'm allowed to fish here. I'm not breaking any laws. Hello? Yes. I need the police right away. There's a trespasser at our lake. He's stealing fish. That's him. That's the guy. Arrest him immediately. He's been poaching fish from OUR Lake.
All right, ma'am, slow down. We'll take it from here.
Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Michael Stories. Welcome to today's new video. Watch the full video. I hope you will enjoy the video. But before moving forward, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. When we moved into our quiet little suburban neighborhood, I never imagined that something as simple as fishing in the community lake would spark so much drama. But then again, every neighborhood seems to have at least one HOA Karen, and ours was about to make a huge mistake. Let me take you back a few weeks. Our neighborhood has a beautiful, man-made lake in the middle. Families walk their dogs around it, kids ride bikes along the trail, and once in a while, folks take small kayaks out. The Homeowners Association, HOA, insists it's a private lake, but technically, it's state-monitored because it connects to the nearby wetlands. The HOA likes to act as though they own it outright. And nobody enforces this mindset more aggressively than Karen. You know the type. Always patrolling with her little clipboard, sunglasses on her head, and a permanent scowl like she's smelling spoiled milk. If your trash can is left out for an extra hour, she's on you. If your lawn isn't perfectly trimmed, she's at your door. So when she spotted my son by the lake with a fishing pole, you can probably guess what happened. My son, Jake, is 27. He's outdoorsy, calm, and incredibly respectful of nature. Ever since he was a little boy, fishing has been his escape. But this wasn't just a hobby for him anymore. After years of studying wildlife management and law enforcement, he had just been promoted to Chief Wildlife Warden for our county. That means he oversees conservation officers, fishing regulations, and hunting enforcement. He's literally the guy who sets the rules. The funny part? Jake hadn't even told most neighbors about his new position. He's humble like that. He just wanted to enjoy a quiet afternoon, tossing a line into the lake behind our house. But of course, peace doesn't last long around here. Karen came marching down the path in her usual fashion, fast, loud, and armed with indignation. She started shouting before she was even within earshot. "Excuse me, you can't fish here. This is private property." Jake looked up calmly, reeled in his line, and said, "Actually, I'm allowed to fish here. Don't worry, I'm not breaking any laws." Wrong answer. Karen puffed herself up like a guard dog. "Don't you get smart with me, young man. I'm on the HOA board, and I know the rules. Fishing is strictly prohibited unless approved by us. I'm calling security and the police." Jake chuckled softly, but he stayed polite. "Ma'am, I promise you, I know the regulations better than anyone here." She wasn't having it. Within minutes, she was on the phone, loudly reporting a trespasser and illegal fishing to the police, making it sound like some dangerous criminal was lurking around. When the squad car pulled up, 2 officers stepped out. Karen ran to them, pointing dramatically at Jake like she had just caught a fugitive. "That's him. Arrest him immediately. He's been poaching fish from our lake," she screeched. Jake calmly set down his rod, pulled out his wallet, and handed over his ID. The officers glanced at it, then looked at each other in surprise. One of them even laughed. "Ma'am," the officer said, "this is Chief Warden Jacob Myers. He's the county wildlife enforcement chief. If anyone knows where he's allowed to fish, it's him." Karen froze. "What? That can't be right. He's just some kid with a fishing pole." Jake finally stood up, his voice calm but firm. "Ma'am, with all due respect, not only am I legally allowed to fish here, I'm actually responsible for overseeing the regulations on this lake. If anything, I should be writing you a citation for filing a false police report." The color drained from her face. The cops didn't arrest Karen, but they gave her a stern warning. They reminded her that interfering with lawful fishing is harassment, and that wasting police resources isn't taken lightly. Jake could have pressed charges, but he didn't. That's just the kind of person he is. Instead, he gave Karen a short lecture about conservation and the actual regulations for our community lake. It turned out fishing was allowed with a state license, and as chief warden, Jake had the highest authority there. Karen stormed off, red-faced and sputtering, but the damage to her reputation was done. Word spread quickly in the neighborhood about how she had tried to bust the new Wildlife Warden Chief. only to humiliate herself in front of everyone. For the first time in years, people started standing up to her. Neighbors who were once intimidated began pushing back on her petty HOA rules. She lost a lot of credibility, and at the next HOA meeting, several residents openly questioned her behavior. As for Jake, well, now whenever he fishes by the lake, neighbors come by to chat, ask questions about wildlife, and even bring their kids to learn from him. He's become somewhat of a local hero. Karen, on the other hand, keeps her distance. She still glares from across the path, but she hasn't said a word since. Moral of stories. Sometimes, the loudest person in the room isn't the one with the most authority. And sometimes, karma has a funny way of humbling those who abuse power. Karen thought she was protecting the neighborhood, but in reality, she embarrassed herself by going after the very person tasked with protecting nature and enforcing the law. As Jake says now with a grin, nothing tastes sweeter than fishing quietly while the HOA Karen walks by pretending not to see me.